let's talk about how to overcome fear of failure. So the program will be around an hour today, and at the end you will have understood fear and fear of failure. You have cultivated resilience and reframed failure and take actions. And at the end, we can share questions. Everything okay so far? Ready? Yes, let's go. Right, first we are going to talk about fear. What is fear, right? What is fear for you? Put it in the chat. What is fear for you? Inaction. What else? What is fear for you? Well, fear is in control over me. Okay, Veronica, yeah. Jess is coming back. So, what else? What is fear? Well, really, it's an emotion. Fear is an emotion, and I can tell you that we all experience fear, and it's normal. We always say, some people say to me, I'm not afraid of anything. I don't believe you. Because it can be a way you're going to react, and it's the threat of harm, whether it's physical, emotional, or psychological. And it's completely normal, but is fear real or an illusion? That's something we are going to see later. So we know we all experience fear, but what is the role of fear? Well, two roles. It's an alarm, right? Like when there is a real threat. For example, you cross the street and suddenly there is a dog running towards you to bite you. Well, what do? Obviously, you could freeze, you're afraid, and that's only normal. So now it's time to make a decision, a fight or flight decision. What do? Do you fight or do you just go and run? Can limit you as well. It's like a limiter, like especially when it's an imaginary threat. And it's based on false beliefs or fears that people have transferred onto you. When I left France to go to England and then to go to Ecuador, my mom was afraid for me, and she transferred her fears onto me. And that was a good intention because she was worried about me, worried about being on my own. But at the same time, she was sending me her fears and I was doubting it. Until one day I just said, hey, that's my life. I want to try. So obviously fear, it depends how you look at it. We can be trapped. And obviously fear will prevent us from doing the things we want. So there are two types of fear, really, the appropriate fear and the acquired fear. Do you know the difference? Do you know the difference between appropriate fear and an acquired fear? The appropriate fear is the fear which is part of the human instinct. As I was saying to you, the dog will run and try to bite you. So obviously it's healthy and it's warning you that there is a danger. The acquired fear is more like fear that you've acquired because of an experience or a comment from somebody. Like it generated like an emotion and it becomes like a memory and you're stuck with it. Example, you go skiing and you break your leg. So you break your leg, it hurts, and it costs you money to go to hospital. So suddenly this emotion will stay in your memory. And next time you're going to go skiing or somebody says to you, hey, let's go skiing, fear. So let's now have a look at fear of failure. My first tip is first to understand the psychology behind it. So how does fear of failure work? I read a study done by a school in New Zealand where they investigated students' view about failure. They divided the group into two, the overachievers and the underachievers. So bear in mind that the students with high academic performance was the overachievers, and the students with low performance were the underachievers. So I was amazed about the perspective each group had. The overachievers believe that failure is temporary. You must dust yourself up and keep moving. Like, hey, you start riding a bike, you fall several times. Hey, come on, let's do it again and again and again until you get it. They see failure as well as a valuable feedback. So they have a look at it as, okay, I failed. What is going wrong? What do I need to change? And whether they are moving in the right direction. As underachievers believe that failure is permanent and that it stays with you forever. And what really impacted me was that high achievers thought the failure says something about the task, right? And low performance felt it says something about themselves and their personality. So basically, the way it works is that, in a way, the study shows that people hold different views about failure, which can affect performance. High achievers looking at failure as, I would say, a springboard, just like, okay, well, I made a mistake and I'm just going to learn from it. And the low performers were just thinking, oh, I am the failure. We all have different definition of failure, simply because we have different values, experiences, belief systems. For example, a failure for one person might be a learning curve for somebody else. So I would like you to think about 2 minutes. What is failure for you? You can open your mic or you can share in the chat. What is failure?
Not achieving a goal that I had set up for myself, like big or small goal, whatever, like, but just not achieving it, like.
Okay, not achieving my goal. Thank you, Jess. Who else? What is failure? Okay, Gilda sees it as a new learning opportunity. Yeah? Shona says making wrong decisions. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Olena? Veronica? Not meeting expectations. Expectations from whom? Right. So that's something we are going to have a look at. So you see, we are 8 of us, and we've got different perspectives on failure. So now I want to tell you that we cannot go through life without experiencing some kind of failure. But it's up to us to decide how we look at it. We can choose how we see failure, as the end of the world. Oh my God, I failed, right? Or as a proof of how inadequate we are. Oh my God, I'm such a fool. I didn't do it properly. I made a mistake. Or an incredible learning curve, a new opportunity. My icon in the business world is Richard Branson. I love that guy. He's the owner of the Virgin Empire. And you know what? He dropped out of high school. He hasn't got his high school diploma. And everybody said to him, you'd never do anything. You don't have your diploma, right? Did he stop doing what he wanted to do? Did he stop going after his dreams? No. And do you think he achieved what he's got now in one go? No, he failed and failed and failed, but learned from his failures. So failures will stop us if we let them stop us. Always remember that. So where does fear of failure come from? Who said in the chat expectations? Karen, yes, expectation, high expectation to perform, right? So who around you told you that you had to be the best? What standard do you have? High standard, very high standard. And so you've got expectations, and when you don't reach them, you feel like you're a failure. The thoughts learned from parents, carers, and teachers. For example, my dad had high expectations for me. And he would ask me to compete with the other kids at school. So obviously it created fear of failure. And I was just like, okay, well, am I going to do it? But if I do it, I might fail. And some limiting beliefs as well, like failure is shameful. Once a failure, always a failure. I deserved it because I didn't try enough. Failure is for losers. And if he could not do it, sure, I can do it. Because we get as well the experience from our environment. And I'm going to share something with you. My dad tried to set his own business 3 times and he failed. And there was always a hush. We didn't say, oh, well, he failed, but he learned, or and that was a learning curve, new opportunities. That was always like seen as failure. So for me, it took me ages to launch my own business. Why? Because I always regarded as my dad as being invincible, as being knowledgeable, as being powerful, and he failed. So hang on, if he fails, I'm not going to do it. And it took me ages to just change the mindset and saying to myself, hey, hang on a sec, that's his story, not mine. And staying in the doubt as well and thinking, am I going to stay in that space thinking, right, if I don't do it, I will always stay with the doubt. So is it better to fail and learn and start again, as Richard Branson did, or just stay in that space of fear? So we were talking about fear as acquired fear or appropriated fear. Fear of failure is an acquired fear. It usually comes from our environment, the perception of fear. So I would like you to think now, where does your perspective on failure come from? Karen, you were saying not meeting expectations. Where does that come from? Shona, making wrong decisions. Where does that come from? Gilda, failure now is a learning opportunities. Where does that come from? Do you want to put that in the chat when you've got the answer? Okay, I can't remember any specific outside influence. Yeah, I'm a Virgo too, Shona, so I know I'm a perfectionist too. I can relate. So, but at the same time, I've learned to accept that if I fail, it's because I need to learn something more. You can see Gilda is writing.
If it's easy, I can speak.
Okay, let's speak.
No, I was saying that, well, now I see it, or I try to see it. I mean, I was not being very, very honest, because I try to see it as a learning opportunity. But yeah, I mean, well, where does it come from? It comes from when I was young, you know, and like my mom always wanted me to have like the higher grades, and nothing was enough. You know, I would bring, you know, in Peru it's from 0 to 20, so I would bring 15. No, it's not enough. So, you know, 16 is not enough. So 20 it had to be 20. So it's just that fear of, yeah, not being good enough to,
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
expectations again.
Expectations, actually, yeah, it is expectations. True.
Exactly. We are expected to perform all the time. And that's why when we don't perform and we fail, we take it so personally that we stay with that emotion. And instead of saying, okay, well, I failed, why? So always challenge your thoughts. You know, when you fail or when you've got doubt, always think, is it true? Is it really true? Like, for example, my experience with my dad, is it really true that I'm going to fail because he failed? Is it really true that I have to be the best in the world? So you always have the choice to change your beliefs, to change your thoughts. You are the captain of your boat. You are the one creating your life. So my second tip is to embrace your mistakes and recognize your achievement. We are so afraid of doing some things because we are afraid of making mistakes. And we are so terrified that sometimes we actually keep playing small and well below our potential. Somebody said something to me, and that was a haha moment because I was in that space as well. I was in England and I had just arrived. My English was not very good, and I was afraid of making mistakes. And I was told the people who don't make mistake are the people who don't do anything. And that was an impact on me. And I'm just like, yeah, that's true. Because obviously, if they don't do anything, they won't make a mistake. So we need to accept, and it's true that in our societies, and especially in the Western societies, we are looking at a mistake as negative. Switch it, shift that thought, and look at it as something positive, something to learn. So it's like a trial and error process, and learn from it. Embrace your mistakes. Say thank you to them, because you won't do it again. You will have learned, okay? Always look at failure as something to learn from, not something negative. When I said to recognize your past achievement to build resilience, how do you do that? I'm going to tell you. By doing a self-inventory. It's a great tool to remind us what our true strengths and skills are. So I'm going to ask you to do an exercise now. Get a piece of paper, split it into 2 equal columns. And I would like you to write in the first column, so I would say the left one, 2 big past achievements. A positive achievement. Let me know when you've done. Okay, Shona, Jessica, Karen, and Olena, because I can't see you. Are you okay? You can use the emotion icons. Everything okay? So in the second column, I would like you to list the skills and the talents you have learned out of these successes. Let me know when you've done. Okay, I can see some comments. Have you done? Because I want to share with you. Olena, you're okay? Jess?
Yes, I am done, yes.
Okay, you're okay, Jess. Fine. Great. So my question was, what have you learned? And Jessica Braga says, I've learned about myself as a freelancer, things that I didn't know about myself, or the opportunities involved in the digital world, right? Karen is talking about definitely resilience. And that, I think you read my presentation in advance, Karen, because that's exactly where I was leading. So, Gilda, what have you discovered doing this exercise?
Well, yes, I didn't recognize that I did have big achievements.
Yeah, what did you learn about doing the exercise
Okay,
of
well,
your skills and your
I have skills that I didn't acknowledge. I got yeah. I learned resilience. I grew in confidence. Yeah, my communication skills improved. Yeah, learn to work with others, collaboration, trust.
Good. Very good. Thank you very much for sharing. Lydia, would you like to share?
Yeah, I thought of kind of more practical things like time management and like money management. No one ever actually taught me that. So it feels like an achievement when you just like somehow pieced it together, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And about your talents and your skills, for example, did you find anything else?
Yeah, I had resilience, but I also really value reinvention in myself and other people. And I think anyone who's been a digital nomad or lives somewhere else, like, is reinventing themselves. And that's something I just really admire. Yeah.
And I admire that too. And really, that's something to bounce back from situations, and that's very valuable. So yeah, well done. Thanks very much. Anybody else? Helena and Shona? Do you want to share with us what you've discovered doing this exercise?
Yeah, so I discovered about you asked like 2 achievements, and I was thinking from a pool of achievements which are like you know, the most achievements, and I was like, okay, I didn't recognize before how many achievements I had. Yes, so I think I was like, it's normal. Yeah, so it's like, you know, just normal.
It is true that sometimes we just feel that it's normal, but we have to go back sometimes and recognize our past achievements and what we have learned. Like Karen said, definitely resilience. Yes, and I really invite you. We've done 2 achievements, but I'm sure you've achieved much more. So I invite you to do the exercise with other achievements. Stay in a silent space and just think about all you've achieved and have a look as well about what people think about you. You see?
Can I just throw something in here? Coming at this out the other end, like I retired early, I'm living in Portugal now. When I was younger, everything was just so intense and it was so important. And it was like, oh, this and this. But as you get older, a lot of it just doesn't matter. And you learn to just not care what other people think. And I really wish for everybody else that I had come to that conclusion much earlier in my career. You know, could have killed a lot of stress and a lot of worrying about things. But at the end, it's just like, oh, that didn't matter.
Yes, that's true.
Big heart girls.
When I'm saying what they see in you in a positive way, for example, people will come to me and just say, I know I come to you because you're organized. I know I come to you because you're like a problem solver. You know, that's something write down in your list. So
yes.
Of talents. You could go around and ask your people around you, your partners, your family, colleagues, people you worked with in the past, and just say, hey, what do you see in me as skills and talent? And I'm sure you're going to be very, very surprised.
And then you feel better.
Exactly. Jess, did you want to share with us what you've discovered?
Yes. So I discovered like how to networking better, how to network better. Well, actually, I wasn't doing it before. I was like hiding all the time. So now I learned how to do that. I learned how to speak up and ask for what I want. It still comes very, very with difficulties, let's say, but at least like I try to do. Sometimes I fail, but sometimes I succeed. So, and I learned how to ask for help, meaning like I'm a graphic designer, so when I do like a project, asking like my friends and my family, do you like it? Like, I mean, what do you see in this? What does it feel for you? Like, because I was hiding a lot. So basically in general, I learned how to open up a little bit, and just to receive like feedback and improve myself, my career.
Well
Yes,
done. Very good.
in general, this.
Very good. So really the fundamental cause of fear of failure is not the failure itself, but it's our perspective on failure, how we see it. Perspective limits our potential. The failure will restrain our hopes, dreams, future to achieve our goals. So let's reframe failure, and that's my third tip. I'm sure you're all aware of this an acronym. First fail is like first attempt in learning, right? So I would like to think for about 2-3 minutes how you would reframe failure in a positive way. I'm going to share my screen because I would like you to use the phrase I've got, which is, for me, failure equal, and just write what failure is now in a positive way. And I will share mine with you. And when you've got the sentence, you can share it in the chat if you want to. So have you done? Yeah. So Karen is saying, I always knew that failure should be a learning opportunity, but it was always hard to actually act on that. So can you say now, for me, failure is a learning opportunity?
Failure is a learning opportunity, but it is more difficult for introverts.
That I agree. I agree. But the way, how do you feel when you say it?
Actually, I'm fine now, kind of looking back on that chapter in my life and possibly having a new chapter in my life. I get it, but it is really difficult when you are in the middle of it.
Okay. But I think the more you say it as an affirmation, or when you just feel, "Oi, I'm not doing that because I'm going to fail." Hey, hang on. Failure is a learning opportunity for me. So
Yes, it's just a matter of getting over anybody else's judgment. You just have to say, like, I don't care.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And that's why get inspired, but don't compare yourself and don't listen to people trying to transfer their fears, even if it's with good intention.
Exactly.
Anybody else who wants to share what failure equals to?
Well, for me now, it's gonna be failure is giving myself an opportunity to become who I want to become. You know, whoever I want to become. Yeah.
Very good.
I just wanna.
Anybody else wants to share? No?
I guess I
maybe-
used. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that first of all, this was really hard. I didn't realize how there's failure. It just like in my head, even when I was thinking of reframing it, like nothing positive was coming to mind for a while. But I think the way I can look at it and reframe it in a positive way is that you're actually getting closer to the thing you want rather than further. Like I always saw failure as like a setback or like, you know, pushing you backward, but I think it's actually pushing you forward a bit, like a learning opportunity, as Karen said. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or failure is a step forward to my success. Yeah? Good.
Yeah, I like that.
Jess?
Yeah, mine was kind of like similar because I wrote like a failure is getting rid of fear, meaning like it takes you like closer to what you want to be and what you want to succeed. So yeah, it's a step forward to my success. That's perfect. So yeah.
Right. Anybody else wants to share? Olena, Shona in the chat if you want to. Otherwise, I'm going to share mine. Well, for me, failure equal deferred success. So I'm going towards success, but I'm just like, okay, it's deferred, but I'm there. I'm on my way, and I will get there. And I will use failure, as you said, as opportunities, learning curves, but it's just like a bit delayed. But it's there. So my last tip is to take action. Do not stay still, right? If you feel like you want to take the plunge, any project you've got, and you are afraid, you're not on your own, okay? I mean, Estebao and other people in Lumena, it's a great community for freelancers, solo entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, so reach out to them. One step at a time. You know your goals, right? And well, surround yourself with people you can trust and people you can exchange ideas, and one step at a time. You are more resilient than you think. So that's why I was saying to you, have a look at your past achievements and do the same exercise we did earlier. What did you learn? Ask people around you, what do you see in me? What are my qualities? What are my skills? Expand your comfort zone. I know sometimes it's scary, but that's when the magic starts. That's when you're going to meet new people, new opportunities. And every time you learn something, expanding your comfort zone, like a new skill, a new talent, a new strength, write it down on your list. I've got a list of all my skills based on my past achievements. And every time I do something new, I write it down. Everything, something I've learned, I write it down. Because when I doubt, I go back to my list and I'm just like, hey, you did that in the past. You achieve that skill. You've got that strength. You know you are resilient. You can do that new project. You will achieve it. You are more resilient. I bet you that you're going to be surprised doing that exercise. So now I would like you to think about what action you're going to put in place today to shift your mindset about failure. You can share in the chat. Are you going to use the affirmation every day? Are you going to expand your comfort zone? And if so, what are you going to do? Okay. Gilda is saying, I'm going to print off my new reframe and use it every day as an affirmation. And it's great. Yeah. Put it somewhere you can see it every day as well, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and so and repeat it every day. Anybody else? Expanding your comfort zone, for example, would be something to change your mindset and just thinking, I'm not afraid anymore and I'm just going to try. So that could be a shift. Okay. Gilda is thinking about how to expand her comfort zone. Yeah, Karen, ready for Career 3.0. Well done. So, and if you need any help, let us know so we can brainstorm.
Thank you. The first year in a foreign country takes an entire year to start learning the language and just get settled and get through bureaucracy and stuff. But I'm still young.
Tell me about it. I've done it twice. I've done it twice.
Yeah, this is my third.
So if you want to come and talk about it, no problem. I'll help you to go over your fear.
Excellent.
Right. So yeah, always look at expanding your comfort zone, looking at reaching out to people. You're not on your own. Failure, shift the way you think about failure. So it's nearly the end of this webinar. And so we have looked at the aspects of fear of failure. And we know that it's acquired. So if we acquired it, we can just shift our thought and just get rid of it or making it more positive. We've done a self-inventory, so we learn to reconnect with our skills, talents, to build resilience. And once again, I invite you to carry on the exercise we did, right? We have reframed failure in a positive way. So use your affirmation every day, or when you are doubting yourself, when you have a new project. And set some actions. Do not stay still, right? Be nice to yourself as well when you make a mistake. That's part of the learning curve. That's part of the path, because as I said to you, the people who don't make mistakes don't do anything. I would like to finish the presentation, this webinar, with a quote. I like quotes. Henry Ford says failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, but this time more intelligently. So do not fear failure, embrace it, become its friend. Thank failure for teaching you so you won't make that mistake again. Right, that's the end of the presentation. Maybe you've got any questions about fear of failure? No? So now you're not afraid at all and failure is your friend. Yeah? No,
well, my question is how to expand. I mean, like, I'm thinking of ideas how to expand my comfort zone.
Okay.
You know, like what small steps could I take in order to expand my comfort zone?
If I remember well, you are a Spanish teacher and you've actually decided to set your own business, right?
Yeah.
Do you network?
Pardon?
Do you network? Do you actually go to places to promote
No.
yourself?
No. Mm. I don't do that. Yeah.
Right. Expanding comfort zone.
Okay, go to network meetings. That's what you mean? Networking.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's scary now. I'm scared now.
Right. But what will you get out of it?
Mm.
Clients, confidence.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
That's
thank you.
the comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah,
Any
thank
questions? You're welcome, Gilda. Any questions regarding the presentation, or even some questions about your, your business, or what's stopping you from reaching your goals? Jess, you wanted to speak?
No, it's what I was thinking is it's a process really. There's not like something that you say like, okay, from today I'm gonna do this one thing, and then it's gonna happen. It's just like a process, and you have to believe it basically.
Yeah.
You have to trust the process, and yeah.
I agree, but because you have the choice to decide if you
Yeah.
are afraid or you're not afraid, but at least if you can identify when you are afraid and just say, hey, is that true or is that an illusion? What will I get out of it if I do it? And what if I stay in that situation in the space I'm in now? Will that change?
Yeah, no, it's true, because like my fear of failures is at the highest peak when I have to present myself, introduce myself to clients, or even an interview. I don't know why. If I know that I am in an interview, like I'm kind of like paralyzed, and the words don't come out, and I don't know why, to be honest. Whereas if I have to introduce myself and explain to a friend what I'm doing, that's okay. And I don't understand, like and I can overcome this fear of failure, because it actually is a fear of failure, like not having the clients, not having the job.
Okay, so why don't you look at your client as a friend?
I don't know why I don't, but because it's I'm an introvert as well, so it takes time to kind of like not really like build trust, but even like build that, having like that confidence of like, okay, I'm telling you about myself now. And so it's difficult like doing it at the first stage, at the first meetup.
The first
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
I understand.
And
but yes, if you need any help, I mean, we can talk privately. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely I will. Is it Phoenix, I guess, is the company
Yes,
where I can reach out to you?
I will show you in a minute where you can reach me.
Okay.
Any more questions, or otherwise we're going to finish the presentation. But before we leave, I just want to give you a gift like a worksheet on embracing your fear of failure, your failure. And then you can, there is the link in the chat where you can put your email address, and you will receive this worksheet on embracing failure. And as well, I'm going to share my screen where you can see my contact details, and you can use as well a QR code to download this worksheet. And you can reach me anytime. I will be happy to help you, to get confidence, to stop self-doubt, and embrace failure as a new opportunity. Thank you very much, Esteban. So thank you to the Numena community. That was great. And before you go, next month on the 16th of August, we'll be giving another webinar, free webinar on the imposter syndrome. So come and invite your female friends, solo entrepreneurs, freelancers. Let's talk about the imposter syndrome.
Thanks, Isabel. That was brilliant.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So I really did, and thank you very much for participating as well. That was fantastic. Thank you ever so much. And as I said to you, reach out if you need any help.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isabel. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank you so
Bye.
much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you.